Sarah Mullally becomes the first woman to hold the role of leader of the Church of England and the spiritual leader of the worldwide Anglican Communion. She has been the Bishop of London, a senior position in the Church of England. Before her ordination, she was a senior nurse, and she takes over from Archbishop Justin Welby, who resigned last year following a damning report that accused him of failing to properly report a child abuser who has been working within the Church of England. So she comes in at a time of crisis for the Church in many ways, where there is intense scrutiny over the Church's handling over historic sex abuse. But of course, the decision to appoint a woman is an historic moment, and clearly a sign that the Church of England wants to continue to promote female leadership at a time when sometimes that is also controversial within the wider Christian church family.
It's not the way Jesus founded the church.
So do you think that it shouldn't have been a woman?
Well, that's not the way the church, the Catholic Church, functions.
But, so you see that as a departure?
Yeah, further departure, yeah.
I think it's about time. Women can do anything they want, just as great as men.
It should probably go to whoever's most qualified for the job, if that's a woman or a man. I don't think that should really be part of the question, I think.
Mindful of the horrific violence of yesterday's attack on a synagogue in Manchester, we are witnessing hatred that rises up through fractures across our communities. I know that the God who is with us draws near to those who suffer. We then, as a church, have a responsibility to be a people who stand with the Jewish community against anti-Semitism in all its forms. Hatred and racism of any kind cannot be allowed to tear us apart.
Welcome back to my desk, family, where faith meets real life and tradition meets transformation. Today I want to talk about a moment in Christian history that has been 1,400 years in the making. The appointment of Dame Sarah Mullally as the new Archbishop of Canterbury. Yes, you heard that right. For the first time ever, the Church of England's spiritual leader, the symbolic head of the worldwide Anglican Communion, representing over 85 million believers, will be a woman. This isn't just about one appointment. It's about what happens when courage meets calling, when tradition makes room for transformation. So who is Sarah Mullally? Before she ever wore a clerical collar, she was saving lives, literally. She began her career as a nurse, eventually becoming the chief nursing officer for England at just 37 years old, the youngest person ever to hold that role. Her career was marked by compassion, excellence, and servant leadership. But in the middle of professional success, something deeper began to stir. A spiritual calling she could no longer ignore. In her early 40s, she left the world of healthcare administration to pursue ordination in the Church of England, following what she described as a deep, unshakable sense that God was calling her to serve in a new way. That transition alone is inspiring. Many of us know what it feels like to be successful on paper, but restless in spirit, sensing that there's something more for us to do. Sarah's story shows us that it's never too late to change directions when the call of God shifts your life's assignment. After her ordination, Sarah served faithfully in parish ministry before passing and being appointed Bishop of Crediton in 2015 and later Bishop of London in 2018, becoming the first woman ever to hold that position as well. Throughout her ministry, she's been known for her humility, her care for people, and her boldness in navigating the tension between tradition and progression. She's also known for her deep compassion, a trait carried over from her nursing background, and her commitment to seeing the church as a place of healing, not harm. As Bishop of London, she helped bridge divides in the Anglican Church around issues of gender, sexuality, and modern identity, not by watering down faith, but by lifting up empathy and dialogue. Now, as Archbishop of Canterbury, Sarah Mullally steps into a role historically occupied by men since the 6th century. This position isn't just ceremonial, it's spiritual, it's theological, it's deeply influential. She becomes the symbolic head of the Anglican Communion, leading conversations on faith, justice, and morality across continents, from Africa to the Americas, from Asia to the UK. This appointment signifies that the church, though ancient in roots, is still alive, it's still growing, and still capable of transformation. Her leadership says to the world, you don't have to fit the mold to be used by God. For centuries, leadership in many religious spaces have been tied to gender, race, class, or hierarchy. But Sarah's rise reminds us that God calls whomever God chooses, and that obedience, not optics, determines the anointing. If you're listening right now and you've ever felt disqualified because of who you are, your gender, your background, your age, or your past, take Sarah's story as divine encouragement. Sarah's journey reminds us that faithfulness leads to fulfillment. She didn't seek status, she followed service. She didn't chase a title, she answered a call. And when you walk in obedience, guess what? God opens doors that tradition may have tried to keep closed. So maybe you're a woman in ministry feeling overlooked. Maybe you're a person of color trying to find your place in predominantly traditional spaces. Or maybe you're someone with a past that doesn't fit the perfect picture of leadership. Hear this clearly. God still calls people who break the mold. Sarah Mullally's leadership style also offers us something profound. She leads like a healer. In nursing, you learn to diagnose, to listen, to comfort, to respond, not with judgment, but with care. The same spirit defines her approach to ministry. In an age where many religious institutions are losing touch with compassion, her leadership brings a gentle strength that recenters the mission of the church on service, empathy, and transformation. Here's something powerful about the idea that God would choose a nurse to heal the church. It's poetic. It's deeply spiritual. This moment isn't just significant for Anglicans. It's symbolic for all of us who believe in a faith that evolves without losing its essence. It's a reminder that God's Spirit is still moving, still surprising us, still challenging institutions to reflect the inclusivity of heaven. Sarah's appointment is a call to action for faith communities to open their doors, their pulpits, and their hearts to the full spectrum of voices God is raising up. So today, as we celebrate Sarah Mullally's historic appointment as the first female Archbishop of Canterbury, let's also celebrate what it represents: courage, calling, change. You may not lead 85 million people, but you can lead your corner of the world with authenticity and faith. Because when you walk in obedience to your calling, no matter how unconventional, you give others permission to do the same. Thank you for joining me at my desk today. I'm Dr. Dandridge. If this conversation inspired you, do me a favor, share it with someone who needs to be reminded that God's timing is never too late and that his calling never misses the mark. Until next time, keep walking boldly in your purpose.